Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I have been sitting here going through all these meditation books, and I ruled these two out, and then I picked the two Melody Beatty books. And then I have the Amy Dean Nightlife book as a maybe. But I also wanted to show you guys something today because I talk a lot about gratitude on this channel, and I talk a lot about keeping a gratitude list and that kind of stuff. And I can't find my other gratitude list book, but there was a whole year that I kept a gratitude list. It was like almost a whole year, I think. And I have one of them right here. This is actually a notebook that I got in the Hunt a Killer subscription box that I actually did a rant video about on my main channel because I thought that the Hunt a Killer subscription box was such a waste of money. But anyway, the one good thing that came from it was that I got this notebook. And so you can see I did this like gratitude list like every day in here, and it was like the top is one day, and I mean it's just random stuff that I have in here. I mean it's just like things from good dinner to going to the meeting with Tanya to watching Grace and Frankie to Alex to my marriage to our counseling at the time to having water to drink. Good health, being relaxed and calm. I mean, there's so many things in here. And it was just really interesting going through here because I could kind of remember like where I was at that point in my life as well. So that was kind of interesting. Because, you know, the month of November is a lot about gratitude and thanks. I am going to, starting today, I'm going to start a gratitude notebook again because when I did this, I was just overwhelmed with gratitude. And there's a book and it's called Simple Abundance. And actually Oprah did a whole show with the author about it. And it's about the idea of gratitude and that the more that you're thankful for what you have, the more that you will receive, which I'm a true believer in. And I don't even know that it's necessarily about the action of gratitude, which I think is truly an action, but I think it's really about the energy that you put out there. And I'm not talking about necessarily like metaphysical energy and things like that. I'm talking about that, like, I think that positive receives positive, and that when you smile at somebody, typically they smile back at you. It's that kind of thing, right? So if you are thinking in a way of gratitude, if you're thinking about, wow, my life is abundant, like I have food to eat, and I have water to drink, and I have a place to sleep at night, and I have, more than I could ever want, then it kind of shifts your whole, like, perspective of how you look at the world. So it's not even necessarily that you receive more, it's the way that you're looking at the world is completely different, right? So it seems that you have so much already, is how it appears. And when it feels like you have so much already, the little that you do receive after that even just seems like abundant, right? So I think the act of gratitude is so powerful in our lives. And I think really, for me as well, getting through really, really difficult times, like gratitude has really helped me with that, I talk a lot about this on here. Like, it was interesting because the couple of the books are about grief today. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I feel like talking about grief, But it's interesting in talking about grief because people have come up to me and they've asked me, they've said, you have this perspective of your mother's passing that I've never heard before, that you say that it was a privilege to be present there. It absolutely was a privilege to be present during my mother's passing. But that didn't come, just as a result. I heard that somewhere. I heard somebody else say that it was a privilege for them to be present for their parents' passing, and then I felt that in that moment, But that wasn't just something that I felt all along. It was through the practice of gratitude, of realizing how grateful I was to have had my mother in my life, how grateful I was to have been able to be one person that she allowed into her life. Obviously I was her child, so she had me, but do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of children and parents that don't get along, and I was grateful for that, and I was grateful for all these things, and it kind of allowed me to really kind of work through my own grief and sadness, and really get to the other point or the other side where I was like, I'm super grateful, even if this means that I've lost my mom. Well, I was able to be part of her life, and that is a really amazing thing. And to be part of somebody's life sometimes means you're a part of their death as well, and what a privilege that is, you know? That the few people that were there at the very end, I was one of those people. And I think it's like starting to see everything through the eyes of gratitude. You know, gratitude was one of the early things I learned in recovery, because I learned to be grateful for my recovery. I wasn't grateful at first, you know? You see a Peter that comes on here at 25, you know, and years and 10 months sober, that's just like recovery, 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 and I'm so, you know, thankful for recovery, and I love recovery, and I'm passionate about my 12-step program and my friends in recovery and all of that kind of stuff. That was not Peter Monn that walked into the rooms of recovery at all. At all. I wasn't grateful at all. I was a spoiled brat that felt like I'll do this thing to appease all of you people until all those people were basically my father. I'll appease all of you people until I'm done with this, and then I'm going to do my thing because I don't really have a problem. You have a problem with my problem. It's how I looked at it, right? And then I started meeting these people that, but for the grace of God, you know, they were still here, and they were so grateful for their lives, and they didn't have a lot, you know. They had a small apartment that they kept very clean and a pot of coffee, and I realized, wow, that's what I had too, and I wasn't even paying for mine because I was so blessed that I had a father that was willing to pay for that, you know. And it started like everything around me, everybody was talking about having an attitude of gratitude, you know, and my whole perspective started shifting, like very quickly. Very, very quickly, when I started looking at everything that I had and everything that I had received. And I'm not talking about superficial stuff. I'm not talking about the clothes and, you know, the car and all that kind of stuff in the apartment. Those things too. Those are big things, right? I'm talking about support from family, support from friends, you know, just the ability to even go to treatment, you know, the ability to be able to get to a 12-step meeting, the ability that, or the fact that there were 12-step meetings in my areas, because since then I have known many, many people that there were no 12-step meetings in their area to go to, you know, or if there weren't like, you know, I have a lot of friends of mine that were women that got sober in small towns. There were no other women to sponsor them, you know, so there's like, when you look at the world, like that's why when I talk to people and I'm like, you know, have you ever thought about doing a gratitude list? And they're like, yeah, it's just really hard for me to come up with things to be grateful for. I'm like, what? Like, seriously? Like, that is, to be honest with you, that's a comment that really pisses me off. Like, I could sit down right now, and maybe it just takes some work, but like, I could sit down right now and I could literally just like throw out like 50 to 100 things that I'm grateful for. I literally live in the action of gratitude every single day, and it is just completely changed my life. It is a language that I speak today. And it is everything that you see, from the sky to the leaves to just looking around my house and being thankful for that, and my little dogs that are sitting over here, to the ability that people want to watch my YouTube videos, to the fact that I know how to make a YouTube video, to a camera, to the books, to everything, to this chair that I'm sitting in, you know, to this water that I'm drinking, to this air that I'm breathing. When you live from that point of view, you see the world in a completely different way. And you can't take things for granted anymore, you know? And I think probably the reason why it pisses me off a little bit, and I know this is, a little boo rattly, is because when I hear people say that, is because I think at one point I was there, you know? At one point, I was the person that couldn't be grateful for anything, you know? But that was pretty early in my sobriety that started switching. You know, back in the day, like, you know, my sponsor would have me keep a gratitude list in my pocket of all of the things I was going to lose if I started using again. And I would look at that list when I felt like, you know, drinking or using. And I was told to make gratitude lists on a regular basis. I was told to live with an attitude of gratitude. I mean, this was something that we talked about a lot in my early sobriety. So, you get in your little bed back there, Boo Radley. So, today in my life, you know, what are you doing, Boo? What is it? Did you make your little area back there? You know, today, that laid the foundation for me to be able to see the world the way that I see it now, you know? And through the years, I've had to have people like quickly jump in and say, you need to find some gratitude. Like you need to find some gratitude. And I'm so thankful that I've had people say that to me, but that's something that I really hold dear to my heart, is the action of gratitude. And of being grateful for those things. And so to practice that, I'm going to go today, I'm going to find a new notebook that I like, and I'm going to start doing a daily gratitude list every night before I go to bed, because I think it would really, really help me. Or when I get up in the morning, it doesn't really matter. But I think writing it down, I've been doing an oral one for a really long time, like in the mornings, but I think so much, I sometimes wonder, like it ended on 5/18, and I sometimes wonder what happened that day, like why that day did I stop? The other thing is the book Magic by Rhonda Byrne. I'm thinking about starting that again this month, because when I did that, like my life just, I already had a great life at the time, but it improved so much more, like the way that I looked at my life. And whenever I talk about that book, Alex is always like, that was the happiest that you ever were, like that I've ever known you to be, was when you were doing that book. And the book Magic by Rhonda Byrne, I am going to do that. I'm going to start it. I'm going to get it. I'll pull it out today. I'm not going to start it tomorrow, because tomorrow's going to be, I think, a very long day sitting at the voting polls. So I'm going to start it on Wednesday, and anybody that would like to start it with me can. It's called Magic by Rhonda Byrne. If you guys would prefer that I wait a couple days so that you can order it, and then we can start it, like on Friday or something like that, I'm more than willing to do that. It's not super expensive. You can get a paperback version of it. You can write in it, and it's basically 30 days of gratitude, and it's fantastic. And it's one of the most amazing books I've ever, like workshop books I've ever done in my life. Right, Tuki? Tuki said, I want to come up there. Okay, so come up here, buddy. He's my little deer. Doesn't he look like a little deer? He's so cute, isn't he? Do you like your new haircut? He said, well, sure I do. Okay, let's read at least one of these books. Where are my glasses at? Did Daddy leave his glasses over there? Okay. November 2nd. See how much easier life can be? The old way to do, push, 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 only when the work was done could we allow ourselves time to rest. But when the work was finished, we often forgot to reward ourselves. The old way won't work anymore. We have learned too much, come too far. Our body won't let us. Our heart will object. Let the work be more fun. Don't push yourself so hard. Let your actions be effortless. An easy result of learning to focus and learning to trust your inner timing. Learn to let your actions spring naturally and easily from there. Let your inner voice and life guide you into breaks while you're working, while you're focusing on the task. Stop fearing it won't get done. Stop worrying if you're doing it well enough. Take breaks when you need to and really let go. Take time at the end of the task too. Take time to reward yourself, to feel pleasure in your accomplishments, to play at the end of the day. See how balance occurs naturally when we trust our heart. See how much easier life can be when we live it from the heart. This is a really good meditation, and this is a really good meditation for me. I am somebody that gets so focused on finishing a project, and I have to finish this, and I want to get this done, and I want to get this done, and blah, 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 whatever, right? That, I never allow myself to just take some kind of breaks in between and just relax and rest. I never allow myself to do that. And that's something I really, really need to work on. It's I get so driven on doing something. It's even sometimes with listening to an audiobook. I was finishing this audiobook last night. I was like, nope, I'm finishing this audiobook. I'm finishing this audiobook. Because I was really into it because it was this great mystery. It was Halloween Party by Agatha Christie, which was actually a really good book. And I was like, I'm going to finish this book and blah, 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 whatever, right? And, because I needed to stop and use the restroom, but I was like, I'm not stopping until I finish this audiobook. So I did finish the audiobook, but anyway, but sometimes I don't allow myself to enjoy the process. And one of the things I've really, really learned in my life is when I allow myself to enjoy the work that I'm doing, whatever it is that I consider work, whether it's cleaning the house. I mean, these things I all enjoy. I'm somebody that enjoys cleaning, whether it's cleaning the house or whether it's, just whatever I'm doing that I feel like I have to get done, put quotes around that, things that you feel like you have to get done. if I'm not doing it at a leisurely pace, or, you know, listening to music while I'm doing it, or an audiobook, or really allowing myself to enjoy the moment, like, then it's just like, I can remember my dad said to me one time, my dad's quite the cynic, and he said to me one time when I was like growing up, and he was like, life is a list of like duties that you have to do, and once you cross off all those duties, then your life is over. And I was like, Dad, and then when I was older, I was like, do you really feel that way? And he looked at me and he goes, did I really say that? And I go, yeah. And he goes, that was pretty cynical, or something like that. But you know, I think there's some people that really look at the world that way. Well, each and every day, you're gonna have lots of things that you have to do to get done, right? Like, we all do. I do today. I have lots of things. And do you know what? I was like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make a couple videos first because I really want to do that. And those things can wait and they'll get done. And they'll get done in due time. But right now I really want to like sit down and enjoy making some videos. And then, you know, I'll go run these errands and do all these things that I have to do. But I'm not going to like rush myself into doing it. You know what I mean? So anyway, that was good meditations today, wasn't it? So that means be grateful for what you have. Who's going to do a gratitude list with me? Who's going to do the magic book? I really, really, really am going to do it this time. So if you want to start it with me, let me know what would be a good day. If you need to order it or find it at like a bookstore, Half Price Books, I don't know if they would have it, but I know that they have it on Amazon because I think I ordered it from Amazon the last time. Let me know. If not, you could just make a gratitude list every day for the month of November. Put 5 things down, 10 things down, 20 things, whatever, you know. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.